This mutation is called Wheel of Misfortune and is being played on Void Thrashing. We have one and a bit of mutators active. So we have Chaos Studios, and this will be the only main common mutator that you will see throughout the course of your game. For those of you that are a little bit newer to Co-op, Wheel of Misfortune is 3 random mutators that get added to your game over the course of time. So over time, one mutator will get cycled out and another one will get added in. So the first 3 starting mutators that we have for these commanders is Photon Overload, Diffusion, and Darkness. And so these things will start coming up. Darkness will be removed first, and then you will have 30 seconds, I think, of 2 mutators, and then then another one will get added. Now, you will notice that we have Ancalagon, the Meme Lord, and we have Jimson, the Chill Brutal +6 co-op guy that we're doing this. So, in the spirit of these 2 guys, they have decided to send in the Wheel of Misfortune mutator, and they said that they have tried to get the most spicy mutators that they were able to roll for this mutation set. So I'm kind of curious to see what they have in mind over here. So what they are playing is they have 30 points into the Infest Structure Cooldown Mastery, 30 points into the Apocalypse, get 30 points into the Mech Attack Speed. Stukov is using the Frightful Flesh Welder Prestige B1 Stukov. And we have Raynor, who's gone for 30 points into the Research Cost Reduction, 30 points in the Banshee Airstrike, and 30 points in the Meg Heal, and is using the Rough Rider Prestige. So this is B2 Raynor. Very interesting choice here for the Raynor enthusiast, but we'll see what is up in store for these commanders. All in all, production seems to be reasonably normal, but I want to talk about this Chaos Studios mutator a little bit. This one is by far the least popular mutator in the game. I think it is even less popular. I would like to say it's less popular than Fatal Attraction and Polarity and stuff. And the reason why is there's very little counterplay to this mutator. One of the strategies in general, behind mutators is that once you know a mutator, you can adjust your playstyle, or at least you should be adjusting your playstyle, to counter the mutator that you're playing with. So for example, if you're up against a mutator like Diffusion, you will probably want to try and use range damage. You want to adapt your strategy to deal with the mutators that you're facing. But one of the things is you cannot adapt your strategy to face every single mutator that you might possibly face. So one of the issues with Chaos Studios is it gives you very little time for counterplay. The mutator gets activated and you're now playing up against that mutator. So unless you're paying attention, and there are times where you could just lose your entire army through no fault of your own, and that is usually why this mutator is not particularly popular among the Starcraft community. But this is the mutator set that we have available to us, so this is what we will be playing up against. And yeah, overall, I think it becomes more of an RNG fest if you do end up with a really difficult mutator set. Just reroll. One thing to note is that if you do intend on re-rolling, for example, Lava Burst over here now has been active, Darkness went away, Lava Burst added. I'll try and keep track of which mutator got removed and which one gets added. But one of the things to note is that if you do intend on re-rolling this mission until you get a nice one, make sure that you do not get mutators that negatively impact your economy in the early game. Those things are a lot worse in the early game than they are in the late game. So what do I mean by that? I mean things like mineral shields, I mean things like slim pickings, I mean things like microtransactions. These ones really hurt your economy in the early game, and for a mutator set like this where you might be fighting up against Void Rifts and Propagators in the later stage of the game, you probably want to have a really good, you want to kind of hit the ground running, and you want to have a really good economy to set yourself up. And then later on, if you get microtransaction mineral shields, it doesn't really matter that much. You've finished up your macro, you're pretty much good to go, and you have a really strong army, so life is good. The other option is you pick a commander that can hero solo. That is the other thing as well. You just ignore your economy completely. Stetman P2 worked really well. Super Gary is really, really powerful. He really does not care about anything. Zeratul might work really well as well. Zagara P3 might work also pretty nicely. So there are a few options if you want to try and avoid dealing with really difficult mutator sets. But yeah, we have Diffusion rolling out now, and we have Alien Incubation added, which is a really nice mutator set right now. These commanders, a little bit annoying, but by no means impossible to deal with. Right now, these commanders are going to be macroing up. We have the Automated Mitosis upgrade for the Siege Tanks. not the siege tank, but yeah, we have the automated mitosis upgrade coming up. We have the acidic enzymes coming up for the siege tanks as well, and then we also have the diamondback upgrade. This is the goo upgrade for the diamondback. So we have a few things in production for these commanders, and one of the things is just take it a little bit slowly. It may be really tempting to try and push as quickly as possible, but it may also end up backfiring if you end up getting a really nasty mutator set. Now, one thing you can actually do is, if you are paying attention, is to pay attention to the times where your mutators roll out. Because when one mutator rolls out, you know your next mutator is there's another one coming up along the way. So what you could do is you could just pull back a little bit and just wait to see what you have and then figure out what you want to do from there. It does require a lot of thinking on your feet. We have a medic here that is healing up some of these diamondbacks, and that medic actually ended up surviving. So there's one thing to also note about that. Photon Overload has disappeared, and now we have Void Reanimators. Yes, you can get Void Reanimators. Void Reanimators is going to be a little bit annoying because in this stage of the game, the Void Reanimators will spawn. The mission is not all cleared. If you were playing a mission like, Missed Opportunities, and you got the Void Reanimators one, there is a chance that you could have actually all cleared the mission before that happened, but it does mean that Reanimators will start to spawn, and they will spawn instantly. There is no 2-minute cooldown as it is when the mutators first active on the regular missions. It's the Void Reanimators have started to spawn, and they are making their way towards these commanders. And you'll see that these commanders are going to start pushing in. Over here, Lava Burst comes up right underneath these diamondbacks and kills off a couple of these diamondbacks. Yeah, 2 diamondbacks have died. 1 Apocalypse has also died here. This Apocalypse might end up dying. This medic is actually healing this Apocalypse, keeping it alive, but unfortunately not for long enough. And now there is a random hybrid dominator here that is reasonably upset with these Banshees, but finally the hybrid dominator gets picked off, and some units are running through these lava bursts, which is somewhat unfortunate. Lots of alien incubation over there, and now we have the result of the Void Reanimators that are causing a little bit of havoc for these commanders. And lava burst is gone now, so these are going to be the last set of lava bursts on the map. And now, speak of the devil, we have propagators. And this is one of the reasons why I said it's always useful. See what happened over there. Like, imagine if these commanders are pushing in right there and the propagators spawn underneath them. You'll lose the game. You will lose a game like that if you're not paying attention. So yeah, they're focusing on that one Void Reanimator, and now this propagator is making its way towards Stukov's base, which might not be a really nice idea for these guys. They have some siege tanks already ready, and this propagator is probably going to end up eating. Oh no, it changed its mind. Oh, it wants that SCV. 1 SCV, 2 SCVs propagated, and it is after the siege tanks right now. 1 siege tank propagated, and these Raynor, yeah, there's no siege tank propagated there. There were a few losses over there. We have 3 siege tanks lost, but Raynor does manage to intercept this, and now the next propagator has spawned. The other thing to also note about these spawns is that they do not work. They work as per the pure mission time. So if you have a propagator spawn at 15 minutes, you'll get 2-3 propagators spawning at a time. So it does not only spawn 1 at a time in the early stage of the game. So that's one thing to also pay attention to. But that propagator seems to have been handled reasonably well by these commanders. And over here, Stukov needs to try and deal with the next spawn. And now we have Twister. So Twister, again, not really too bad of a mutator to deal with. The alien incubation is gone. Twister now is active. There's a Dark Templar over there. There's an Infest Structure, which is not really going to do very much, but there is an Overseer coming up, and now we have double propagator spawns here. So again, these commanders will have to be a little bit careful as they are pushing into this enemy base. There is a propagator over there. 1 Yamada cannon straight to the propagator's face. Propagator gets wrecked. And over here, we have a siege tank, and we have some Banshees, so these commanders are going to be able to deal with this without really any issues. The propagator dealing a little bit of damage, getting some more propagations off on Stukov's army, but that is all okay. Stukov, remember, is using the Frightful Flesh for prestige, so he doesn't have as fast as Colonist Compound, so it's not going to be a problem for him to, he doesn't have to worry about his infested or just randomly walking into propagators. So that set of Void Thrashers are done, and this set of Void Thrashers pretty much also goners right now. And yeah, Void Reanimators is going to be the next one that will cycle away, and once these Void Reanimators go away, it will make their Elise Commander's lives a little bit easier. A couple more propagators over here, but propagator is not going to be able to deal with Raynor's army. As soon as Raynor gets a big enough sized army, and as soon as he gets enough attack upgrades, he can just A-move into propagators and just not really care. And now we have Polarity. So what did we have? We have Polarity, we had propagators, we had Void Reanimators. Do you guys have any other favorite mutators that you'd like to see? Take your bets on what's going to happen next. I think we want to see a bit of Void Rifts, don't we? I think Void Rifts would be kind of an XD. So much XD. I can't kill the interceptors. Yes, interceptors can be a little bit annoying. There are a few more propagators on the way. Propagators will stop. They will stop spawning next. Propagators are the next mutator to get cycled out. Polarity again, really nasty. Both these commands will have to push through. Raynor right now is pushing in by his army, with Stukov as well joining in to help him out. And Stukov will be able to clean out these Diamondbacks here. Diamondbacks taking a little bit of damage, but they will be okay. They will be able to clear out these units out. And there is a Propagator making its way towards Raynor's base, and I do not know. Okay, he's noticed it right now. And what is he going to do? He's putting down some missile turrets, which may not be too wise. These SCVs decide, oh, nope, there is a very, very scary Propagator over there. One unit gets propagated, 2 units get propagated, and what are they going to be propagating? Oh, they want the Diamondback now. As soon as the Diamondback gets, oh, they ate the double mule as well. And now propagators get barrier distracted, or don't. Yep, everything is optional. Eating, breathing, drinking is mandatory. Everything else is optional. So there's another propagator over here. Where is it? Did this propagator get stuck? I think this propagator might have been bugged out. Nope, it's making its way now towards Raynor's couple of marines here. So where is the guy there? That propagator has polarity, by the way. Propagators get polarity? Yes, propagators get polarity. They get all the buffs from Amon. Stukov realizes that he can't actually kill this propagator. So Raynor has to go on overtime right now. One unit gets propagated as well. Diamondbacks will be able to kill off that propagated unit, but that could have been somewhat catastrophic. Propagators now are no longer spawning, so that is also going to be a little bit good. We have barrier on the way. Next one that's going to be disappearing is Twister. And these units are going to be jumping right into the Twister here, taking a lot of damage. They want to try and intercept this. This is a Robo Reaver attack wave, so it's going to be pretty nasty. Stukov siege tanks shelling away at the back on the back line there, and they are killing off the ground units. So all that's left now is for Raynor to try and take out the rest of these units, which he promptly does. And how many? 91 Marines have died throughout the course of this mission. And speaking of die, I forgot about Just Die. Just Die is now active. Propagators have, or Twister has disappeared. Just Die is now active. And everything now is going to have 2 times more HP. It's going to have more unit sound. And it's going to have polarity flipping around all the time because the units are going to be respawning. It is just really, really nice and spicy. Yeah. Thumbs up and Caligon, Jimson. This is definitely a spicy mutator set that you have managed to roll yourselves into. I have no idea how many times you guys tried to get this set, but this is a really, really crappy set. So, just to show you guys the amount of crap that you can end up dealing with, this is what you have to expect with Wheel of Misfortune. Of course, what can sometimes happen is you'll roll barrier, and then you'll roll, I don't know, long range, and you'll roll short-sighted and easy mutators to deal with. Or you can be like these guys and just roll the ridiculously stupid mutators here. But polarity is going to be the next one to disappear, and once polarity disappears, Amon's forces will start to melt a lot quicker. There we go. Polarity is gone right now. What is going to be the last mutator that is going to be enabled on this mission? I'm actually kind of curious. I don't know if these commanders are going to be able to see what that next mutator set is. Oh yeah, we did. Fatal Attraction, of course. Of all the mutators that are there, the ultimate troll, Fatal Attraction. But all these Void Thrashers are now dead. And, oh no, they still just die. Okay, now it's going to be dying. Now all the Void Thrashers are dead, and Sergeant's Hammer Fortress is defended with Fatal Attraction, and that is GG.